Okay, well, hello everybody. This is Marty McPadden, Podgem TV Productions, and we are here. Where are we? We're in New York City, in Soho, and probably wondering why we're here. Well, we've been promoting this FreshBiz game, and going on behind us is a group of folks that are experiencing the game. And to start out the broadcast today, we have Josh Weiss, who is with FreshBiz Game. And Josh, before we get Ronen on here, who's the founder, let's talk about kind of why we're here. What's going on here?
Well, okay, so we're here basically to launch the FreshBiz activity in the US. This is really where the jumping start. We've been active with FreshBiz for the past 4 or 5 years around the world. Started out in Israel, which is where our home base is, and we've taken it internationally. That was one of my main roles in FreshBiz, was making it available internationally. We started out at one time running workshops over Skype.
Okay.
And we've traveled to many other countries. We have activities in Spain, in India, in Mexico, and it's time to launch big time in the U.S., and
Nice.
that's why we're here.
So is this the first U.S. stop, or have you made other stops, or is this
For
first in New
this
York?
trip, this is the first stop. We've
Okay.
been here before. We ran some workshops in the past, but it was more kind of feeling the water and figuring out what we need to do. When going into a new country, a new culture, then it's not just copy and paste. You need
Right.
to learn it. So,
Right.
so we've
Gotta
been
kind of
here.
tailor it
You
to
got
the.
you got to feel it. Yeah, tailor it to
Yep.
to the needs and
Mhm.
and the customs and so on. So there's a lot of that. So we've been running a few workshops in the
Mhm.
past. There are. I'm sure we can come across people in the U.S., in New York, in Florida, where people who know of FreshBiz have
Mhm.
heard of FreshBiz. But this is the starting point. That's
Okay.
basically been feeling, and now we're ready to jump. Basically, the end of July,
Mhm.
we're going to have the games available for retail sale
Nice.
in the States.
Excellent.
So that's coming up real soon. And
Now this group back here. Now
Right.
what are they doing back here? I know
So
we've been here for a couple hours now.
right. So the group back here, they've already played their first game
Okay.
and they've experienced it. I think that pretty much everybody came away with some sort of a wow
Yeah.
from that game.
Yep.
And now they're basically working on understanding it.
Okay.
So they're processing what they went through, and playing the game as its own is great. And now there are more levels that you can go in. So now
Right.
they're taking them to the next step. The next
Okay.
step is really understanding what we call multidimensional entrepreneurial thinking.
Okay.
Okay, so they're learning what those extra dimensions are
Okay.
and how they appear in the game, how they relate to life.
Okay.
And it's very funny. I think a lot of the people here mentioned how parallel the game is to
Yeah.
life.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and some of the insights when we had just finished playing the game ourselves, and we were talking a little bit about the insights that we learned, and I know that you bring up about the way you play life and business and life,
Right.
and how you play it and kind of like game connotation. But can you talk about some of the normally when we think of businesses, we think of very competitive. Someone's got to win,
Yep.
someone's got to lose, right?
Yep.
And I think we were kind of shocked at our own kind of take on the game in the beginning, and then what we learned at the end. And the object of the game, if you want to kind of get into it briefly, it's not what you may think in business. It's more about
It isn't what you may
collaborative.
think in business, but it is what you should think in
Okay.
business. And we got to face it, our minds are lazy.
Right.
Okay, and we'll always come to the easiest conclusion
Mhm.
that we possibly could. And most of us are used to playing Monopoly.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that's what we played, right?
Yes.
That's what we played.
Very
all of our
traditional game,
childhood,
yep.
Very traditional. Been
And the
around
object of that
forever.
is you gather as
And
much
it-
assets, right, and try to
Well,
bankrupt
I
the
don't
others.
know. Well, there you go. I don't
Yep.
know if it's to gather assets,
Yep.
but it's definitely to destroy the others.
Yep.
Okay, it's totally what's called a last man standing game.
Mhm.
There's only one winner. For you to be a winner, you have to make everybody else has to lose.
Yep.
That's the way it is. And we come and we see a game, and even though it's not that type of game, then we start playing that way because that's our automatic. Because again, our brains are lazy. So it takes work to
Right.
actually working on ourselves to actually be able to play it differently.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know what? One of the phenomenal things is that we think that a game is a game and life is life.
Right. Two separate things.
Two separate
Yeah.
things, but they're not. And
Yeah.
that's why we say, changing the way you play business and life, because they are one and the same.
Yeah.
Games, life, business, it's all one and the same. There are no separate characters.
Right.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
You're all is one.
Yep.
Okay. And the way we do something is the way we do everything.
Right.
So practicing a game, okay, is actually practicing what's going to happen in real life.
Right.
And that's the beauty of the game.
Yeah.
And so that's we are talking about win-win, and we are talking about a different game where you can actually progress yourself without destroying someone else.
Yep.
On the contrary, the more cooperation, the more win-win, the more win to the win power.
Right.
On the bus ride here.
We were talking about that.
Right.
Yeah.
On the bus ride here, we were talking about the different levels or the different villages that you can go through. With one of the chapters in the book, which everybody can read.
Yeah.
Goes through those different dimensions.
But you're stronger together, and so you're trying to do it singularly, but you're stronger together. I think we're getting ready to bring on Ronen.
So.
And Joshua, was great having you on.
Thanks.
And I think we're going to bring on Ronen, and we're going to talk a little bit about or Simcha or Ronen? Simcha. Simcha, why don't you have a seat right there?
Sure.
And we're going to bring on Ronen? See, this is live, so
Hello.
Bring in Ronen and Simcha. You guys can, actually, you know what? I can give you both the mics here. I'm going to ask you. I want you to get close so we can hear you.
Sure.
I'm going to ask both of you. The first question here: how'd you come up with the idea for FreshBiz Game? I know there's a whole story, and in preparation for this, you have a whole book that you're coming out with. Fascinating story. I mean, I just love what you guys are doing. So I'm going to give you that. Why don't you kind of get into it?
Sure. I'm going to let Ronen take it because this is actually Ronen's idea that he turned into reality, and I've been along for the journey.
Okay.
So it started about 10 years ago. It started, I guess, as a sleepless night with an idea and an inspiration to create a game that people can experience entrepreneurship in a different way than what we used to know up until that point. We grew up on playing games like Monopoly and things like that are very zero-sum games, and if you want to win, if you win and someone loses, and I guess that from very early age, I had the understanding that this is an old game. I'm not talking about Monopoly. I'm talking about life. The way people play life is an old game. It's a game based on fear, and the educational system, the economical system. All of those systems are built in a way, and all those are different kinds of games that we play in life. They're all based on fear because someone structured the game in a way that it serves him, that we will be scared.
Only one person.
Yeah. And I just came up with the idea that by having a different game, people can start having a different mindset, and through going through an experience, they can get the understanding that other things are possible for them, and collaboration is possible, and opportunities are possible, and leverage is possible, and basically thriving is possible. And that's how the idea was born.
Sure. I just want to say also that what's exciting is that we're especially right now, we're in new times. We're in the new shared economy, and there's a lot of friction because we're in the new shared economy, but people aren't really good at sharing. Yeah. And they're not so good at sharing because of how we've been raised, like what Ronen said. We've grown up playing so many games that reinforce old school values. And the idea behind FreshBiz and the feedback that we get from people all over the world is that it's a training tool to give people the new skills to play the new game in the new shared economy.
It's funny, we were talking about Monopoly and how we all grew up Monopoly, and the object of the game is one winner and all the rest have to go bankrupt to win. And it's funny because we all played the game, and we all kind of went in with that mindset today, and we learned a lot of valuable insights, just exactly what you're talking about.
Awesome. And that's the deal. Is life is not a zero-sum game. Marty, you can win, and we can win, and everyone else can win. And not only can we all win, but when we work together to help each of us win our own game, because I don't mean in a cheesy way that we're all winners, okay? But I mean that we all can be winners. that once we know that we're not battling each other, that it's not a dog eat dog or a screw world, then what happens is now we're playing on a whole new playing field of how creative can we get in expanding that success. And that's a really exciting conversation to be a part of.
Absolutely. I got another question here for you. We discuss entrepreneurs with a Z. What does that actually mean?
Well, it's a Z because it's the FreshBiz way.
Okay.
And we believe there is a new brand of entrepreneurs. We call them the new entrepreneurs. And they play life in a different way. And first of all, it's very important for us to let people know that when we talk about entrepreneurship, it's not just about business, because people tend to think that entrepreneurship is about starting your own business.
And plus also then they start to think, well, I either am an entrepreneur or I'm not an entrepreneur. And they start to count themselves out. And if I could just add, just the way that we understand entrepreneurship, the way that we feel about it, and the way that a lot of our community feels about it is entrepreneurial thinking. Entrepreneurship is a mindset.
Yep.
And it's a mindset of entrepreneurial thinking, which is the ability to turn ideas into reality. That's what it is. So whether it's planning a family vacation or creating something from scratch or making a fresh apple pie, that's entrepreneurial thinking.
Yep.
And it's really exciting. And the reason why we have a Z is just because the FreshBiz new entrepreneurs are people who are really good at turning ideas into reality. And they do that through many different dimensions of life, not just through, the one dimension that unfortunately the media and newspapers and TV and celebrities like to focus on, which is the dimension of money. And they make that life is just all about how much money you make and that's success, and it's
That's
such
the only score that wins.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's the bottom line, the only score that wins, and that's such an old school concept. I think it's Henry Ford that says that if you have a business that only makes money, you have a really bad business. We're multidimensional creatures, so the new entrepreneurs that we talk about are multidimensional creatures, and they enjoy their life, they enjoy their passions. They're not looking to retire because retiring is just not what they're about. They love the game, so they want to play the game. They want to play with as many players as possible, and retiring means that they have to stop doing what they love.
And so in our book, we have a chapter that's called Smart Business. And we talk about how to build smart businesses. And we say that there are three major characteristics for building a smart business. And first of all, it has to be a purpose-driven. Because if you have a business that only makes money, then that's an old-school business. Who cares about that anymore? It's very one-dimensional to think that if the business makes money, it can be purpose-driven. And no, if you are a new entrepreneur, you first come from the purpose. You first come from the vision. And the money is only a tool to keep the business going, so you can fulfill the mission and you can fulfill the vision. So first of all, it has to be purpose-driven. And then it has to be win-to-win power.
Yeah.
It has to be built in a way that everyone wins. So screwing over your suppliers to get a better price, it's not a win-to-win, because at the end, they're going to lose. And you win on top of them losing.
It's interesting you mentioned that win. That's something I learned playing the game today. We didn't get that in the very beginning, but bringing everyone over the finish. And what you said about suppliers, if your suppliers are losing, then you're losing.
Exactly.
You're not really.
And if your customer is losing, then you're losing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And even if you're not losing, they're losing.
Yep.
And just holding this concept that if someone else loses because I'm running my business in a certain way, then that's not a new business. That's not the new vibe that we want to bring.
And that's not really long-term success.
Exactly. And the third section is, or the third element that has to be to maintain a smart business, is it has to serve your lifestyle.
Yeah.
And by serving your lifestyle, that means that this business is in alignment with how you want to run your life. And lifestyle doesn't mean, sitting on an island drinking coconut. That's only one picture of lifestyle. Your lifestyle can be running a business that had 3,000 employees or more than that, like Richard Branson or whatever, or it can be running a lean business from your home. It depends on what's your specific lifestyle. But giving away your lifestyle just to support a business that just makes money doesn't work anymore. Yeah.
You talk about the concept of lifestyle entrepreneur. Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. There's different types of entrepreneurs, and we sort of view that the first style entrepreneur, and it's almost like an evolutionary process, was basically the lone entrepreneur, the lone business owner, and this is the person who runs his own bakery or runs his own haircutting place where he's it. So if he's not doing anything, nothing is happening in his business. And it's challenging to be there. It's challenging, for those entrepreneurs that had this idea that they wanted to break free from a system of working from 9 to 5 to go be a new entrepreneur and have their own business. But now they're working from 5 to 9 because they're working harder than ever before, and they don't have the leverage. It's them. So a new sort of brand started emerging of the lifestyle entrepreneur. And the lifestyle entrepreneur is where it was sort of this idea of being active now to generate the passive income so that then they could really enjoy their life. So it's like, let me do whatever I can to just buy as much real estate, or to build a huge network marketing team, or to build a huge affiliate marketing team, or to make that ebook, so that I could do everything now, so then I could just passively just go off to this island by myself and just sort of celebrate and do nothing, and just be ambitiously lazy, as they call it. And it's sort of a sexy idea, and it gets a lot of people excited about it. Like, oh my God, I want to do that. I want to build a passive income stream, and then I could just do whatever. And there's nothing wrong with it. It works for some people. But where we sort of take issue is that it's promoted in a way where it's sort of like it promotes the dream as later, but not right now. And I think it's Gary Vaynerchuk that says, you know, if you live for the weekends, your shit's broken.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, it's like lifestyle is right now. All that we have is right now. You talk to anybody that's ever had a sick relative or something like that, and you understand that life is really valuable. You know, so if you're waiting for 20 years to then start your lifestyle, you're missing the boat. And the new entrepreneurs are people like what Ronen just said, is where they build their lifestyle into their every single day. So it meets their mission. It's purpose-driven. It's exciting for them. It literally is like the quote from L.P. Jacks in the Master in the Art of Living, that you can't distinguish between their work and their play, because to them it's both. And that's the deal.
And also, once you're a new entrepreneur and you're living your dream and your business is your vision, who wants to retire at 40?
Exactly. I mean, I just think retiring is you're living to die. I mean, you're not doing
retiring.
it.
It's an old school concept.
Yeah.
You can change the business. You can change your lifestyle. You can change the hours. But who wants to get out of the game?
Yeah. And blurring those lines and making, you know, it's funny because I just recently left a corporate job, and now Missy and I, you know, do our own business, and we're kind of living our lifestyle now. And oh, thank you very much. And but what I saw lots of times, you know, I see a lot of happy people. I see people that have everything backwards, where they get the job and then they try to design this. What can I do around this job? Or they'll look at the money and say, oh, this is a great salary, but they're miserable. You know, it wears off very quickly. Instead of like looking, well, how do I want to design my life, and how am I going to get there? You know, and I think people don't realize how many options you have.
Exactly. We talk about it in the book. We talk about it in the book all the time, that we say you first of all decide on what's the lifestyle and what's the mission, and you structure the business around the lifestyle, not the other way around. Because if you do it the other way around, all you get to have are those lifestyle moments that are in the end of the weekend that you didn't.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep. I got one more question for you guys. Well, we talked about the sharing economy, but one of some of the challenges you see getting entrepreneurs or those looking to become entrepreneurs to think differently. Because I know we mentioned the game of Monopoly. Everyone's familiar with that. But what you present here is a completely different way of thinking about entrepreneurship. How do you get people really thinking differently?
Sure. Well, it really just comes with giving people muscle memory and playing a different game. And this is why this is our mission. Is, you know, our mission isn't to just sell our games. Our mission is to bring an impact for people, to allow people sort of what we refer to as like a mental fitness center for the mind, where they can flex new entrepreneurial muscles. You can't want to be an entrepreneur and then go home and play games like Monopoly or Grand Theft Auto, where you have to beat people up, murder people, annihilate them, steal their cars, butcher them. So many games that we play, we think it's a break from reality, so it's not a big deal. But we don't realize that it shapes our reality. And the more we play games that are harmful, okay, then we bring that attitude into our life. So definitely the way that we understand entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial thinking and turning ideas into reality is already from a place of we need to have training in that. We need to develop it. It's a muscle. And that's a big part of what the game in the book is about. Is you know, the book is sort of the concepts, but then the game is the ability to already experience playing it. And to already experience the idea of, okay, here I am, I'm able to create what we call a smartnership with someone, to smart partnership. We're able to leverage this opportunity. We're able to combine this, and all of a sudden we weave together this beautiful multidimensional structure that wasn't there before, because we have this idea of collaborative winning in mind, where now we can focus on bringing each other value. And I think that's really key, is just creating muscle memory around entrepreneurship. And if you do that in real life, man, it hurts, because it's just there's money, there's loans, there's this. So in a game, it tricks the mind. because the mind thinks that you're taking out loans and building businesses, when here we are in the simulation of a game taking loans and building businesses, but you really feel like, wow, when I go out to the real world now to go ahead and to do what I got to do, I already have training in it, even if it came from a simulation.
And sometimes it's almost funny to see how people react to it, because when you come to people and you say, look, if you're going to play the FreshBiz game for 10 times or 20 times, your thinking will change. Your mindset will change. And people come from a place that's too easy. I can change my life just by playing a game. Doesn't make sense, because a game is a break from life.
Yep.
It's not a way to build your life. But actually, it's like new technology. It's like if you knew nothing about airplanes,
Yep.
and I told you that there is a way to get from New York to California in less than a day, you'll think I'm crazy, because it's not possible. But it is. A game, it's like a new technology when you come to education. And it is fast, and it is easy, and it is fun, and it's possible. You just need to understand that it's a tool. And once you get it, then it's a fun way there.
Excellent. Now, we have questions coming in from you guys on Twitter, and thank you very much. The hashtag, and I should have mentioned this stuff, FreshBiz Game hashtag. Moms of America tweeted in a question, and I might need some help. This question, Misty, very interesting concept. Is it a corporate, not complete ideology? Oh yeah, is it a cooperate mentality and not compete ideologies? That's really what you're promoting, right?
If I could answer it like this, what I would just say, and I think it's a great question, is the idea of competition is very healthy, okay, and I totally get where it comes from, but the idea of competition, the way that we see it, comes from two places. It's me, Simcha, competing with myself on how I could be the best damn version of myself out there. So, if I can run a marathon and I do it in 5 minutes, okay, well then the competition that I'd like to have is now I like to do it in 4.5 minutes. So I'm competing with myself. And then the other aspect is that we're also, just like the game of FreshBiz, life is a time-based game. So we're only competing against the time. So if we're just competing against the clock, then let's be the best version of ourselves right now as opposed to waiting for later. So that's sort of how we view competition. And then collaboration, once we understand that, then everything else is just a matter of collaboration. It's Marty, how can I bring you more value?
Yep.
And how can I bring someone else more value? Because bottom line, the more you give, the more value that you provide, the more doors you open, the more doors will open up for you as well. So it's not this idea that, like, again, that everyone should just hold hands and sing, but it's the idea that we really can all win our individual games by helping other people win their games as well.
It's very important to understand that competition, it's a made-up game.
Yep.
Someone decided that this is the game we need to play. And especially nowadays, we have so many resources that we are not really competing over resources.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that there are people that are dying from hunger is not because there is not enough food in the world. It's because someone chose to play a game that they have to lose and die, so they can keep the money, the power, whatever.
Right.
It's not a competition out of lack of resources that we have to fight over. This is not that anymore. We have enough money, we have enough food, we have enough resources, we have enough knowledge, so everyone can achieve their own vision and goal and desires. So it's a non-relevant game anymore, and it's time to change it. And it starts from the understanding that it's a made-up game, and we can change it.
That's the idea of playing a new game of win to the nth power that we call it. Meaning, win-win is great, but it's still too small. Win to the nth power is, how can I win? How can you win? How can your family win? How can this
planet win?
Soho Loft win? How can the planet win? Meaning, it's expanded conversation.
It's so unintuitive, or I'm not even sure that's the right word, but because you're so conditioned growing up that someone's got to lose, and I like what you said about it being a game, because it's like you're working out, and it takes time to kind of work out that muscle, to change your perspective. We have another question from the online mom, Monica Vila. Thank you, Monica, for tuning in. There is a game called Red Black Game. Are you familiar with it? Reminds me of FreshBiz Game. What's your view?
Not familiar with it.
Well, if she's referring to what I know as the Red Black Game, then it is a game about how people see competition and win to the win. And it's a very interesting game. It's very based on the game theory that if everyone works together, everyone wins.
Yeah.
But usually when you give people to play the game, each one looks at their own interest and ending up losing. So yeah, it's very much in the way that you learn through the game that everyone can win if there is an open communication.
Right.
But because of the fear and the hiding, and so everybody tends to lose. So yeah, that's exactly what FreshBiz does. The first game of FreshBiz, it's kind of a reflection on how you play life. From the second,
I know it was for me.
Exactly. And from the second on, let's say from the fifth and the sixth time that you play the game, this is where the fun begins. This is where you get to work the muscle. This is where you get to, enjoy the days that you went to the gym and now you see your body.
You see the results.
Yeah. Now this is where you see the results. So yeah, this is
excellent. Very good. Now I know we're going to bring up some folks that actually played the game, but I want to at least anything that we didn't cover that you want to cover before we start bringing up some influencers that we didn't mention yet.
Well, yeah, sure. I'll just say that we're really excited to be here with you, and we're really excited to be in New York City. What started out as an idea for Ronen 10 years ago translated into him literally choosing to sell his house to print the first 1,000 games. and
That's commitment.
Yeah, you talk about going all in, and he really did it just because from a place of bringing something new to humanity. And we sold out on those first 1,000 games pretty quickly, second 1,000 games, and we're here because this is our U.S. launch. And we literally
first time you guys are in New York, right? For this.
Well, we've been here before, but this
Yeah,
is our
but
first
it's
official launch
launch.
for the company. And so what I want to just put out there is that we have as of in the past couple hours, we have our first batch of 5,000 games that's available online.
Yes, we should mention how we can get that. I know you
Sure. And what we did also is so it's available for pre-order. And we also have our book. Wiley's asked us to write a book that's coming out in the middle of August. So we even have a bundle of the game and the book, and it's less than $100, and that's it. Our goal is to give people a ridiculous amount of value and make it affordable, so that more people can really train their mind on developing a new mindset. So I just want to say, if you go to our website, freshbizgame.com, you can already pre-order the bundle. And it's literally a perfect package. It's designed to be the content and then the experiential part of it that provides the education to be able to literally, like you said, to change the way we play life. And we're really excited. We're really excited that it's out there.
Yeah, it's really. And I want to say one more thing regarding this. It's like nowadays, because of social media and because of the internet, because we have such an easy access to information, people kind of became content collectors.
Yep.
And they just keep collecting more content and more content. They read more blogs and they read more posts, and they just and at some point we have too much information.
Yep.
And what's people are lacking those days are the ability to put those to put the information, to put the content into action. So at FreshBiz, we kind of delivered the tool that gives you the ability to take all the endless information around you and the endless content and put it into context. Because information has no value if you don't know how to put it into the right context.
Right.
If you don't see it as an action card, if you don't see it as an opportunity, if you don't see it as a leverage for smartmanship, then it means nothing. So just collecting more content, collecting more information makes no difference. It's about using the tool to kind of collect the information and put it into action and generate change. It's all about generating change.
Excellent.
Want to just add one more thing, that all the viewers, all the people who are hearing about this or who are listening about this, I mean, we literally, just like Ronen went all in with his house, well, we went all in to be able to launch the U.S. market. And so when our community goes ahead and gets the bundle or gets the game, it allows us to continue to deliver the message, to be able to print more games, to be able to really keep doing what we're doing around the globe. This is the new shared economy, and we just want to light as many light bulbs as possible.
Very good. Well, thank you guys for being on with us.
Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Now I know we're going to bring on Ann Tran. I know both you know Ann coming on. I'll take that from you there. And Ann, welcome.
Hi there.
How you doing?
Very well.
Now you just played the game.
Yes.
Now I'm going to ask you, after playing the FreshBiz game, what did you learn about business and yourself?
Well, it taught me that you can play with your business friends as well as your competition in a creative, but equally. So there's plenty for us to go around.
Was there anything that surprised you about, like, I know for me, went in there, I almost played like Monopoly, where I was trying to gather as much as I can. Then we kind of all say, well, wait a minute, we all have to kind of cross the finish line together.
Right.
How do we get that done? Did anything surprise you about that, or?
Well, it shows your personality, right? So for me, I'm competitive, but also giving. So then you're watching the game, you're like, wait, how are we going to win this as a team versus just individually?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wish that, we had this game in high school or college.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think I would have been a better student.
Yes.
Because for me, it's all experiential, experience.
Yeah. Excellent. Very good. Anything else you wanted to add as far as your experience? I know this was the first time you experienced. I'm just gonna have you hold that up.
Sorry.
First time experiencing the game. Anything you want to add? Anything that really surprised you, either about the experience or about the game itself, or about you?
Well, I think that the audience will have to play to figure it out for themselves.
They're very good. Yes, because you really have to experience it.
You do.
Yeah, and that's why we're not presenting it live here. We can't present the experience.
Right.
You really have to experience it. I think
my experience is probably different from yours, right?
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah.
But I also just want to thank Ronen for letting me play this game.
Absolutely.
It was really fun.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
It was great. Thank you, Anne, very much.
You.
Thank you. Now we have. Well, we're gonna bring John in. If you just. Oh, we're gonna wait for the mic. I think they want to mic him up. If you want to bring that. Oh, he's got a mic. Okay. See, this is live, folks. So want to make sure. We're gonna have you hold that.
Yep.
John Vroman.
That's right.
Okay. And John Vroman on Twitter.
That's right.
John, I'm gonna ask the same thing of you that I asked of Anne. After playing the game, and I'm going back to my question here. What did you learn about business and about yourself after experiencing FreshBiz Game?
Well, I learned that probably
we played together.
Yeah. But the biggest lesson that I learned is the power of collaboration and partnership.
Okay.
So I came in having actually played the game one time.
I'm gonna have you put right there.
I came in having played the game one time.
Okay.
And even knowing.
So you had a little head start.
I had a little heads up. But knowing that the goal was to get everybody to the end, I still played guarded. I still played with some old beliefs, some old existing rules in my life. Okay. And so
now, what were your beliefs beforehand? What you played with?
My belief was, how much money can I collect from other people?
Yeah.
How do I get myself further faster? How do I get to the circle? It was focused on my achievement of a goal. I still was collaborating, but not to the level in which it would take to actually get people there by the time the game was over.
I see.
In the time limit, yeah.
So after playing it, were there some insights that you came away from that were different than what you were going in with it?
Yeah, big insights. One of them was not to get hung up on things that didn't matter. We debated and we talked about, what's the stock? How do we use it? What's that for? When in reality, just like life, I think you need to know what's your big objective and stay focused on that objective. Somebody said at one point, I don't know who to quote for this, but it was, the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. And if our goal would have been clearly identified and we would have been united as a team and playing the game
from the very beginning,
on what the goal was, then we could have said, is this conversation or is this activity really helping move us along to get to the end?
Yeah, very good. Excellent. Thank you, John.
Awesome.
I appreciate it.
Awesome. Hey, thank you,
sir.
Have fun out there.
All right, and we're going to bring on another person that experienced the game. Here we go. Now, make sure I'm pronouncing your name. Vivica. Okay, I'm sorry. Vivica von Rosen. LinkedIn expert on Twitter if you want to follow her. Vivica, right there. Vivica, I'm going to ask you the same thing I asked everyone else. I'm going to have you bring that mic up.
Yes, sir.
After playing the game, what did you learn about business and about yourself?
I learned that it's a really good thing that I hire people to do the sniggly bits because all that detail stuff. I couldn't even think of the word. And actually playing with the other players, none of us were really detailed people, so we kind of just forgot to read the directions, and we weren't really paying attention to when they were given to us. So no, it was, but it was pretty telling that the entrepreneurial mind tends to be more overview than detail, And so, and this is a lesson I wish I'd learned earlier, actually, in my business, which was hire people to do what you can't do. So that was one thing.
Good.
And then also, Ronen had mentioned that it was sometimes our circumstances blind us to opportunities. So, just because of what we thought we read in the directions, I wasn't even aware of some of the things we could do. And when he talked about being able to share the opportunity cards with other tables,
see, we didn't go that. We figured out like we could share them amongst ourselves.
But and that's just like, well, why do I have to just work in the U.S.? Why can't I be a global company? And,
nice.
So it made me think about that as well. So I think it's a really eye-opening game. The other thing is it's deceptively simple looking until you start to realize that there are a lot more. There are many more aspects to it than you would originally think.
Well, very good. Excellent. I appreciate you being on.
Thanks.
Excellent. Well, I think that might do it. Oh, wait. Well, we got tons of questions here. So, we got winners. Okay. You want to sit down? Why don't you sit down? No? Okay. Wait, I'm going to put this down. And we have the prize winners for the games. And first of all, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. But our first prize winner is for a game and a book is the online mom, Monica Vila. Congratulations, Monica. You win a game and a book of your very own. The next winner of a game and a book is Moms of America. Deborah, congratulations. You get a game and a book. Thanks both of you for your wonderful questions. And
It's ended. I can take the light.
Yep, I appreciate the light. That helps a
But
lot.
you know how? Yeah, you got it.